Hey, I'm Kobe, and this is Lane Like a Pro. For our first episode, I've got Bwipo with me from FlyQuest, and we're gonna go into Renekton.
As I live, all will die.
So Renekton, okay, you're gonna have some melee matchups, some range matchups. Let's go over first the basics of laning, and then some specific matchups for pro.
Sounds awesome. The first and most important part about playing Renekton is your rune page. Obviously, when you're playing as characters that are not going to give you much uptime, you prefer PTA, you proc it very quickly with your W, empowered immediately procs it. You can animation cancel your basic attack with W and proc it even if you don't have Fury. And then pretty much my rune page every game is always the same. I play Triumph, Alacrity, Last Stand, and then I go Second Wind, Overgrowth. I take double adaptive force and flat health because as long as I manage to make it to level 6, I feel like most matchups with Renekton start turning around and becoming better.
Perfect. So what are your initial item builds going to be, like your core item build?
I'm a big fan of rushing Black Cleaver or Shojin. Eclipse is a fantastic first item if you want to snowball your lane because the components are very good. You're buying Caulfield's Warhammer and you're buying Pickaxe. This is very aggressive components, lots of AD, but no health. In competitive play, I prefer to rush health because I rush Sterak's second. So this has kind of been my hallmark over the years is Sterak's on Renekton. I rushed it second every single game. I have popularized it here in NA. I much prefer stacking health items because Renekton, he has a special interaction with Sterak's in the sense that he gains bonus health. So when he casts his ultimate, he gets 500 health at level 11, which is a massive amount of boost considering he gets 60% of that added to Sterak's shield. So my main focus is always going to be Black Cleaver, Sterak's, and then situational. Either I'll commit to full tank items like Spirit Visage, Randwind's Omen, or I'll commit to more AD like Spear of Shojin, Death's Dance, etc.
Perfect. All right, so let's get into some of the overall laning concepts for Renekton, like melee versus range, and how you want to manage your rage.
Absolutely. So the first thing that's really important is mentally making a note of which spell you want to prioritize your Fury on. The answer is almost always going to be your Q because it's his strongest skill. Renekton's Q is a very short cooldown, does a lot of damage, and it heals him. It's empowered when you have 50 Fury to deal more damage and heal more, but it also pushes the wave faster. So when you're playing Renekton, one really important part about his kit is he gains more Fury when he's below 50% health. So you actually are encouraged to trade quite aggressively when you're above half health. In general, this means that in matchups early game that you are stronger, you prefer Doran's Blade because you don't want to have too much sustain because below that 50% mark, you can surprise people in all-ins and get multiple 50 Fury spells off. That's the main thing when you're playing Renekton. Jack's matchup in particular here, which is a very spicy one, is unique because you basically don't win all in. You never win all in against Jax until after level 6, and after level 6, you win all in if you burn your ultimate immediately. So it's super important when you're playing this matchup. First things first, you want to ward the first line bush so he doesn't surprise you. And then you basically just want to respond to the Jax. So when he's walking up to you and he's stacking his passive, you want to poke him or you want to concede the lane. So you can either skill E level 1, which is what I'm going to do, and just let him push me in because I want to stay as healthy as possible so I can trade with my E and Q. If I skill Q and he finds an all-in on me, that's going to hurt a lot. And then you see now, he's getting slowly whittled down and getting put in a position where my sustain is going to outperform his. So here, for example, as soon as the Jax tries to trade with me with E, I want to E out. But that's what you're looking for basically as Renekton, is to play very slow and just poke your opponent, just play it safe. So it's really important when you're playing these kind of matchups to understand, do I want to play for priority and harass my opponent aggressively, or do I want to catch some waves and get some levels? So if you're playing against Gnar, you're playing against Kennen, these kind of characters, you most definitely want to be in a position where you stay as healthy as possible, and then once you have your Fury stacked up from farming safely, now I can look for a more aggressive trade. Notice how I didn't use my E2 when the Jax was trading me, even though I could have E'd on him after he was down and taken a smaller winning trade. I saved my Fury so that next time we interact, I'm going to beat him. When you're playing Renekton, when you're walking into the wave and you are 0 Fury, you are at your weakest. So you must find a way to start stacking Fury without getting harassed a lot. With that knowledge, if you are able to stack your Fury without getting a really bad trade taken on you, you're in the money with Renekton. Now, after you hit level 6, you've got a special situation where if Kobe's so kind to try to all-in me, I can show him. Obviously try to stack your passive on the wave, and then you can just try and all-in me, and I'll show you, even with this passive stacked, Renekton will win. Yeah. Let's fight whenever you're ready. So the thing is whenever he uses a stun like that, you want to just pop your ultimate and you want to just take it slow. You kite him and then you slam a big W and you're just gonna win. You stat check Jax. So that's the secret in a lot of Renekton matchups is 100 to 0. If he spaces out his skills and abuses the fact that Dominus deals so much magic damage per second, he can win almost every all-in. If they're trying to get a chunk on you and put you to low health, you have to burn your ultimate aggressively so that you can win the trade and have control over the wave. Because if you're the one touching the wave, you're stacking Fury. You're stacking Fury, no one beats you.
Perfect. Okay, is there anything else on the Aatrox matchup that you want to go into?
Aatrox matchup's pretty much the same. I mean, just use your E to dodge the sweet spots. You know, like I want to go over that, but that's the big thing is you got to use your E to get into his sweet spots. Big advice for against Aatrox is don't be shy to dash into his Q. So when he's queuing on you, you can dash in with E1. Just make sure you hit either a minion or him so you have E2.
Okay.
Don't be shy, you will win. If you can get Aatrox low enough that you can burst him with your ultimate or just in general flash W, you're in the money. Okay?
Sometimes, of course, you're going to get, counterpicked by a Gnar. Sure. Anything different for if you're playing versus range.
Number one trick you can get for Renekton to win the first round against the range champion is to skill E level 1. If someone disrespects you, you can E on top of him, level 1, and just all in with your second E. So you want to E1, make sure you get in range of his basic attacking, and then you basic attack him, E2, and then you can walk him down the line and roll in him with this tactic. This is how you can secure priority against Gnar. I've done this on stage. It's a good trick against people that don't know you can do it. If you do it wrong, you will get spaced and punished, so do be mindful of it. The main thing is as I'm stacking Fury here, is you want to hit the enemy champion and the wave. So I'm just going to get 50 here. So here you want to EQ the wave and just E out. And that's good enough. You spam that. You spam 50 Fury Qs as much as you can. Obviously, when you don't have Fury, you're going to have to EQ and just be happy with that. But in ranged matchups, don't rely on W. Don't rely on finding all-ins. Leverage your Q as much as possible, and if you can hit him and the wave every time you Q, just like this, it's good enough. Just make sure when you're Eing out, try not to waste your Fury if you can avoid it, but obviously don't take a bad trade either. If the range champion is too disrespectful, you can obviously E on his head, slam your ultimate, and press W. This is Renekton's bread and butter. Always, when you have your ultimate available, and you're gonna get 50 Fury from pressing ult, because you get 20 from pressing ult, you get 20. Ult into W is gonna win you almost every single all-in in this game. Shout outs to Darius and Olaf because they can beat you, so be careful with those. Yeah. Jax can also beat you if he plays Ignite, so be mindful if you're not running Ignite and he's running Ignite, because we all run TP in competitive like gentlemen, but in solo queue there's some demons out there, so be careful.
Now advice for people at home, after you do well in your lane phase, because we have seen you on Renekton carry a lot of team fights, 1v9. What are your goals on Renekton later in the game?
The number one thing that I play for is my first item. I think Renekton in general is a character that spikes 3 really important moments. First item, usually around level 9 or 10, level 11, and a second item. So when I'm playing Renekton, the reason why level 11 is such an important breakpoint is if you actually go check, he gains 500 bonus health, which is, to anyone that does the math, 1,200 gold worth of stats straight up. And then he's 150 damage per second to anyone that's in range of him. This number is, quite frankly, ridiculous, and in my opinion is one of the reasons why he's such a strong champion. If you know how to use Dominus, you're not useless. This burn effect is everything for Renekton.
Are there any combos that you want to show people at home that you can demonstrate 100%. On some target dummies real quick?
The first combo we're gonna learn is, learning how to do EQ really quickly is really important. You wanna just EQ E. You wanna do it as fast as you possibly can because a lot of the time when you're playing a range versus melee matchup, you can cancel your Q animation with E and you can just get in and out really quickly. This way, you minimize the amount of poke you get back from a range champion. Biggest and most important combo on Renekton that's going to lead in most of your all-ins, you're gonna do RW. So you're gonna just ERW and you're gonna commit with a 50 Fury W. That's it. It's a super simple combo, but it's what leads most solo kills in competitive because you're just really strong. So whenever you watch me rolling up with my items, that's exactly what I do. I put my foot down and I commit to an all-in. I just E on top of the guy, press W, press ultimate, and then cancel my ultimate animation with W. You can also do it with Q, so you can ult Q as well in case you want to get some more AoE healing, but the most common one is going to be RW. The reason why that's really big is you still have your E2, and you're on top of him, burning him with your ultimate. So wherever he goes, E2, you follow him, and you crush him because your ultimate's really, really strong. Even like a level 13, 14 Renekton with 2 items and burning his ultimate It is ridiculous how much effective health you're generating. And if you're fighting around this timing, we have this joke where he's the tankiest character in the game. He has about 2.8 to 3,000 health, depending on your level. And with your ultimate running, you're going up to 3,500 health. However, over Starax, gives you a 900 health shield. So it's just really strong. On the flip side, if you don't manage to make anything happen on this item spike, he does fall off. So Renekton does not scale well unless you have a gold lead. So if you don't fight on your first item, your level 11 spike, or your second item, you're probably not going to carry the game.
Not doing it right then. All right, thank you, Bwipo, for the Renekton information. Tune in for our next episode to keep track of more How to Lane Like a Pro.